Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Mac here, and I am going to show you how to make this catapult come to life now that you've built it. It's time for us to add some programming into it, which will be block coding, and you can find that with the UKit EDU app. So on the iPad, take a look right here. You want this one that says EDU. So you're going to go ahead and click on that. All right. And so the very first thing which you're going to want to do is you're going to want to scroll again to the Catapult build. This should be familiar from the last video. All right, there we go. And yes, let's start building. Although we are already done building, so this is all good. You can come right up here to that green check mark and click that. Yes, let's start coding. All right. So the very first thing that we are going to do is that we are just going to use what's called a sample code, meaning the app has already created the code for us to make the arm of the catapult throw. In the next video, you are actually going to manipulate some things and figure out how to make the code better. But at first, let's just use the sample code. So where do I find that? Well, I go to this first icon here, which is the list icon. And I'm going to click that, and notice it gives you a few samples. You are going to click on example 1. And here is your code. Notice it's a bunch of blocks, which are kind of put together like puzzle pieces. You have a sequence of code. It starts with this, and then goes to this, and then this, and this, and this. So what do each of these blocks mean? Well, first of all, this blue block that you see here is when the run is tapped. Basically, that's the event that starts off the whole code. So that run happens to be this play button that's right here. Okay, so we'll press that here in just a little bit, and that's going to get everything started. What you see here now in this pink is really important. That's called a loop. Okay, a loop is nothing more than a repeat code so that you don't have to put the code multiple times. It's just going to loop whatever is inside of it. So for instance, this repeat loop is going to keep going until your catapult actually hits low battery. So it's going to go forever almost. I shouldn't say forever, but it's going to go for a really long time. Now, what we have inside are these turquoise colors that you see, and that's where it's actually using the servos. Notice it's saying that it's going to rotate or move the servo, the first one to a negative 34 degrees, and then the second one to a negative 90 degrees. And that's just the position of the arm, the starting arm. Okay. Notice that it says for the duration of 400 milliseconds. MS is milliseconds. So what that means is 4/10 of a second, or 0.4 seconds. A really short amount of time. It's going to stay in that position. Then it's going to wait for 3,000 milliseconds. 3,000 milliseconds happens to be a whole 3 seconds. And then the servos are going to rotate again to both 0 degrees. And that is only going to last for 100 milliseconds, which is 0.1 milliseconds. It's a really, really short amount. Okay. And again, this is going to repeat itself again and again and again until you hit low battery. All right. It's going to keep on going. You don't have to tell it to do anything else. So now that I've pulled this up and you understand a little bit more of what these blocks mean, make sure that you have turned the switch on your catapult on the red box, turn on the on, and then hit the run button and see what happens. Oh, I'm sorry, we forgot to connect. So it's going to tell you to connect. Press OK. And this should be the one that's closest to you. Now, there might be a bunch that actually start showing up because you're sitting in a classroom right now. Notice you want the one that has probably the strongest signal strength. See how mine are all green? It's the strongest signal. It's because it's the one that's closest to my iPad right now. And so that's the one that is my robot. I'm going to click on it. And right now it's just syncing, it's connecting the iPad to the robot. It tells you here's the servos that you have in play. You're going to press OK. All right, now you should be ready to go. Press the play button, the run button, and you should see some magic happening at this point. Hopefully you can hear it in the background right now, and you are seeing some cool things going on with your Catapult. Now, notice a few things here. If you want to stop the robot, you would press the stop button, okay, which the play button has now turned into a stop. Also, as you can see, part of the code is actually being highlighted. That's telling you that's what part of the computer the robot is running at that current time, okay? So it's really cool to kind of watch how quickly it goes through each one of these different directions, these different codes, because we've set it only for a small amount of time. And then again, if you want to stop it, you just press the stop. All right. I hope this video has helped you with understanding how to pull up the sample code on your UKit EDU app. Have fun with your catapults.